Nevada ranked number 2 in the entire country for foreclosure filings in the first quarter of 2026. 1 in every 1,983 homes received a notice. And once that process begins in this state, the average family will not see resolution for 1,422 days. That is nearly 4 years of legal limbo, credit destruction, and financial paralysis, all while still living in the house. From above, Las Vegas looks like a miracle in the desert. 40 miles of neon master-planned suburbs stretching to the horizon, and neighborhoods that grew faster than almost anywhere in America during the pandemic years. Millions came. They bought. They believed the price tags made sense. But here is what they are not telling you. Today we count down the 10 Las Vegas area neighborhoods where foreclosures are rising, prices are falling, and the dream that sold a generation on desert homeownership is beginning to crack. And number 1 may be the neighborhood that surprises you most. Subscribe now so you never miss the next housing warning. Drive southeast of the Strip, and the desert gives way to something that looks like a real city. Wide streets, freshly painted curbs, subdivisions with names like Tuscany and Anthem that promise a life well organized. Henderson was the smart suburb, the responsible choice, the one people moved to when they wanted Las Vegas without the gamble. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. According to Redfin's March 2026 data, sellers in Henderson are listing their homes at a median of $558,988 and walking away with around $500,000. That is nearly $59,000 between what sellers believe they deserve and what buyers are willing to pay. Sellers are not winning this negotiation. Sellers here are still anchored to 2022 price expectations. They watched their home value climb and locked that number in their heads. The buyers coming through the door have different math. According to Redfin's April 2026 data, the average Las Vegas area home now sits on the market for 62 days, up from 50 days 1 year ago. The buyers are patient. The sellers are not ready for that. A growing number of Henderson sellers report listing with confidence and waiting weeks with no offer. First a price cut, then another. Their agent keeps saying the right buyer is coming. Meanwhile, 3 streets over, someone already cut to the bone and sold, and that sale just became the new comparable for every other listing on the block. If you bought here near the 2022 peak at around $520,000, here is what happened to your money. Today's median sale sits near $500,000. That is $20,000 gone on paper. Then add 3 years of interest at 6.5% on a $468,000 loan, roughly $91,000 paid to the lender. You have spent over $110,000 to live in a house worth less than what you borrowed. If your neighbor just cut their price for the 3rd time, what does that number tell you about what your own home is actually worth? Spring Valley spreads out west of the Strip in a grid of stucco homes and strip malls that look like every other middle-class neighborhood in the Sun Belt. The streets are wide and flat. The garages are shut at 2 in the afternoon. The HOA notices on the fence posts are freshly laminated. Nothing about this neighborhood screams danger. That is exactly the problem. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. Spring Valley sits inside a market that, according to Nevada Real Estate Group's April 2026 data, has swelled to over 4,000 active listings, with 4.3 months of supply, up from 3.3 months just 1 year ago. That is 30% more homes competing for a buyer pool that has not grown to match them. The buyers who could afford Spring Valley are standing at the edge of the market and waiting. Mortgage rates in Las Vegas are sitting between 6.4% and 7% in early 2026. At those rates, a standard home purchase here means a monthly payment pushing well past $2,000 before taxes and insurance. According to CNBC's April 2026 housing survey, 19% of real estate agents reported that affordability was now driving buyers out of the market entirely, up from 11% just 6 months earlier. A growing number of Spring Valley sellers report their listing sitting past the expected sale window without a single clean offer. Price reductions are becoming routine. Buyers know they have leverage. They are using it. If you bought here near the 2022 Metro peak at around $462,000, 3 years of interest payments at 6.5% on a $415,000 loan have cost you approximately $80,000. Home values in this corridor have not moved enough to justify that outlay. 30% more homes on the market flat, demand and rates still above 6%. At what point does waiting to sell cost you more than selling at a loss today? Drive west on Summerlin Parkway until the city opens up into something designed rather than just built. Red Rock Canyon rises in the background. The neighborhoods have names like the Arbors and the Paseos. The community rec centers have lap pools. Summerlin was sold as the best version of Las Vegas, the master-planned escape from the chaos below. People paid a premium to believe that story. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. According to Nevada, Real Estate Group's April 2026 data housing supply across the Las Vegas Valley has climbed to 4.3 months, up 30% from 3.3 months just 1 year ago. In Summerlin, the premium submarket, where sellers hold higher price expectations than anywhere else in the valley, 30% more competing listings means buyers have options they have not had since before the pandemic. And buyers with real options are not paying 2022 prices. Premium markets move last and fall hardest when the competitive floor shifts. The buyers who held Summerlin prices elevated were often not buying to live there. They were buying to hold to rent, short-term to exit after appreciation. Now, inventory has expanded, and those buyers have pulled back. The remaining buyers, real families with real budgets and 6.5% mortgages, are looking at the asking prices here and walking away. A growing number of Summerlin sellers report pricing at what they believe the neighborhood justifies, and watching competing listings pile up around them. Buyers in this price range have choices now they did not have in 2021. They are using them. If you bought in Summerlin near the 2022 peak at a significant premium over the metro median, likely $500,000 or more, and the competitive landscape has since shifted this sharply. The distance between your purchase price and today's buyer ceiling is wider than any listing agent in this zip code will acknowledge out loud. You paid a premium for the master-planned lifestyle. Would you still write that check today, knowing what the market around you actually looks like right now? Paradise is the unincorporated corridor that holds most of what the world pictures when it imagines Las Vegas, the Strip, the convention halls, the high-rises with views of the Mojave at sunset. The lobbies are marble. The valet lines move fast. From the outside, this place looks like money. From the outside, it has always looked like money. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. Investor purchases across this metro fell 20% year over year as of December 2025, according to data cited by United States Real Estate Investor. Paradise, more than any submarket in Clark County, was built on speculative confidence. Investors bought condos here, assuming the Strip would generate endless rental demand. That confidence is now leaving. And when it leaves a market like this, it does not leave quietly. Las Vegas is a one-engine economy. When that engine misfires, homeowners feel it before anyone else. According to CNBC's April 2026 housing survey, the spring buying season was directly undercut by geopolitical uncertainty and rising oil prices, which fed straight into the consumer spending that drives Las Vegas hospitality jobs. 19% of agents reported affordability was pushing buyers out. In a market dependent on tourism employment, that number moves fast in one direction. A growing number of Paradise condo and investment unit owners report watching their short-term rental income drop, while their mortgage payment stayed exactly the same. According to reporting from the Washington Newsday in 2026, Las Vegas was facing economic strain and housing market shifts alongside direct job losses in its core entertainment sector. The income model these owners built their purchase on is no longer working. If you bought an investment unit in Paradise during 2022 expecting rental income to offset your mortgage at 6.5%, here is what the numbers look like now. Rents in the Las Vegas market fell 3.0%, heading into 2026, according to CNBC's December 2025 data. The income you planned for shrank. The payment did not move. The investors left first. The rental income is down. So who exactly is going to buy your unit now, and at what price will they actually do it? If this is hitting close to home, hit subscribe. We cover these markets every week so you can stay ahead of what is coming. Drive north on Interstate 15 past the city limits, and the strip fades in the rear view. North Las Vegas opens up into wide residential blocks, and newer builds on lots big enough to actually breathe in. This was the affordable promise, the entry point for families who could not crack the prices on the south side. They moved here by the tens of thousands. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. Between 2020 and 2023, 25,246 families moved into North Las Vegas, the highest inbound migration of any submarket in all of Clark County, according to Census Bureau data cited by Consumer Affairs in 2026. They were told this was where regular people could still buy. They stretched their budgets and signed their papers at 6% and 7% rates. Now, Nevada ranks number 2 in the entire country for foreclosure filings. 1 in every 1,983 homes received a notice in the first quarter of 2026, according to ATTOM's official data. The buyers who came to North Las Vegas were working-class families at maximum financial extension. Low down payments, monthly payments that left no room for a transmission replacement, let alone a layoff. According to CNBC's April 2026 report, real estate agents across the metro reported job insecurity was now a primary driver of buyer hesitation. In North Las Vegas, that insecurity was never far from the surface. A growing number of North Las Vegas homeowners who bought in 2022 and 2023 are no longer able to stay current on payments that were barely manageable at the start. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal in 2026, Nevada's foreclosure ranking surfaced in local media alongside accounts of families entering a legal process they did not fully understand and could not easily exit. If you bought in North Las Vegas during 2022 at around $380,000, here is what 3 years of payments looked like. Interest at 6.5% on a $342,000 loan has cost approximately $66,000. The median list price today sits at $419,900, nominally higher on paper. But that paper gain does not cover what you have already paid to borrow the money. You are not building wealth here. You are paying rent to a bank while the bank holds the deed. 25,000 families moved here for the affordable dream. How many of them knew they were buying at the exact moment the math stopped being affordable? Pull up to any intersection on the outskirts of Las Vegas on a weekday morning, and the city looks exactly like what it was sold as: sun, space, and possibility. The developments stretch to the horizon. The roads are wide and freshly paved. This was the city that absorbed 1 million pandemic dreams. Everyone was moving here. The prices proved it. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. When 2 of the most widely cited housing data sources in the country disagree on which direction your market is moving, that disagreement is itself a signal. Redfin's April 2026. Data puts the Las Vegas median sale price at $440,000, down 2.8% year over year. Zillow's figure for the same period comes in at $436,200, but shows a 2.7% gain. When 2 Tier 1 sources tell opposite stories, the market has no direction. And a market with no direction is a market where sellers are exposed. The speculative floor has been pulled. According to data cited by United States real estate investor purchases across this metro fell 20% year over year as of December 2025. The buyers who propped up Las Vegas prices were not families with 30-year mortgages. They were investors with exit strategies. And the exit strategies ran first. A growing number of Las Vegas sellers report listing with confidence, receiving one offer below, asking holding out for better, and watching the market move against them while they wait. According to CNBC's April 2026 housing survey, buyers across the spring season were pulling back, citing job insecurity, rising oil prices, and a persistent sense that prices had further to fall. In Las Vegas, that hesitation is not irrational. The data supports it. If you bought here near the 2022 peak at around $462,000, here is what happened to your money. Today's Redfin median puts Las Vegas at $440,000, a paper loss of roughly $22,000. Add 3 years of interest at 6.5% on a $416,000 loan, approximately $81,000 paid to the bank with no equity gain in return. You are over $100,000 into this investment. The asset has moved sideways at best and backward at worst. When Zillow and Redfin disagree on which direction your home's value is moving, which number are you using when you tell yourself it was worth it? West Las Vegas runs along the city's older corridors, neighborhoods built before the master-planned era, before the resort developments, before the flood of remote workers decided the Mojave was where they belonged. The houses here are modest. The streets are lived in. This was not a speculative play. This is where working families built actual lives. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. According to Redfin's February 2026 data, home prices in West Las Vegas are down 4.6% compared to 1 year ago. In a neighborhood where homes are not large and margins were never thick, a 4.6% decline is not a rounding error. It is the difference between a family's equity and zero. The families who own here are not investors with diversified portfolios. They stretched to buy into a rising market at rising rates. Now they are sitting in a metro where foreclosure filings rank second in the entire nation, 1 in every 1,983 homes, according to ATTOM's first quarter 2026 report. Homes in this metro take 62 days to sell on average, per Redfin's April 2026 data. There is no soft landing being designed for this part of the city. A growing number of West Las Vegas homeowners who bought during the 2021 through 2023 run-up are watching their equity compress while their payment stays fixed. They bought at the peak of both prices and rates. Their neighbor listed last month. The new comparable closed below what they paid, and the appraisal they need to refinance into a better rate is not coming back the way they need. If you bought in West Las Vegas near the 2022 peak at around $380,000, here is the math. A 4.6% decline brings estimated current value to approximately $362,000, an $18,000 paper loss. Add 3 years of interest at 6.5% on a $342,000 loan, roughly $66,000 paid to the bank. You have put $84,000 into this house in 3 years. The return is negative before you count the carrying costs. You were told this neighborhood was the affordable entry point into Las Vegas real estate. At what point does the gap between what you owe and what your home is worth stop being a paper loss and start being a decision? Lake Las Vegas was engineered to feel like a different world from the city it was built inside. A man-made lake in the Nevada desert, ringed by luxury homes and boutique hotels, framed by red rock ridgelines on the horizon. The marketing used words like resort living and curated community. People paid a significant premium to believe those words. Some of them paid with everything they had saved. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. According to Redfin's February 2026 data, Lake Las Vegas home prices are down 10.9% compared to 1 year ago. That is the single largest year-over-year decline of any named submarket in the entire Las Vegas Valley. The resort lifestyle did not protect the investment. It absorbed the loss first. Luxury desert communities lose buyers faster than anywhere else when rates rise and confidence falls. The people who paid premium prices here in 2021 and 2022 were betting on continued appreciation in a market already stretched past rational fundamentals. Mortgage rates are sitting between 6.4% and 7% in Las Vegas in early 2026, according to Nevada Real Estate Group's data. At those rates on a luxury mortgage, the monthly carrying cost is punishing. And there are not enough buyers willing to absorb it at the current asking price. A growing number of Lake Las Vegas homeowners who bought at the height of the pandemic rush are now watching foreclosure listings appear on their own street. Their neighbors, people who bought the same dream at the same price on the same terms, are entering a legal process they did not anticipate and cannot easily exit. In a community where the entire value proposition was premium, a foreclosure sign 2 doors down resets every assumption you made about what you purchased. If you bought in Lake Las Vegas near the 2022 peak at an estimated $700,000, here is what happened. A 10.9% decline brings current estimated value to approximately $623,700, a paper loss of $76,300. Add 3 years of interest at 6.5% on a $630,000 loan, approximately $121,000 paid to the bank. You are looking at nearly $200,000 in combined paper loss and financing costs. For a man-made lake in the Mojave Desert, you paid a premium to live next to a man-made lake in the Nevada desert. Your neighbor just listed their foreclosure at a price that resets every comparable on your street. So what exactly is your home worth today? There is a version of this story the real estate agents will tell you. They will point to the low number of active distressed properties, 190 in March, down slightly from the month before. They will say the market is normalizing. They will use that exact word, normalizing. Drive through the working-class corridors north of the Strip and east of the freeway, the zip codes where first-time buyers stretched everything they had during the 2021 rush, and ask the families living there how normalized it feels. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. Nevada ranked number 2 in the entire country for foreclosure filings in the first quarter of 2026. 1 in every 1,983 homes received a filing according to ATTOM's official first quarter 2026 report. Across the entire United States, 118,727 properties received foreclosure filings in that same quarter, up 26% from 1 year earlier. Nevada is not an outlier. Nevada is the leading edge. Now, here is the detail that never makes it into the headlines. Nevada's average foreclosure timeline is 1,422 days, according to ATTOM's first quarter 2026 data. That is nearly 4 years. A family that receives their notice today will not see legal resolution until sometime in 2030. They cannot sell, they are underwater. They cannot refinance, there is no equity to refinance against. They cannot walk away cleanly, the credit damage accumulates for years. They are trapped inside a legal process that grinds for almost half a decade, and there is no shortcut through it. According to the Las Vegas Sun's May 6, 2026 report, Nevada was among the states hit hardest by foreclosures in the first quarter of the year. The Las Vegas Review-Journal covered the same story and noted local families entering a process they did not fully understand. A local news station ran a segment headlined, and this is the part worth reading carefully. Report ranks Las Vegas near the top in foreclosure filings. Experts say don't panic. Experts say don't panic. The families in those 1,422 days of legal limbo are the ones deciding whether that advice holds up. If you are among the families in Clark County who bought in 2022 at around $400,000 and are now entering the foreclosure process, here is the full accounting. 1,422 days of legal proceedings, credit score damage compounding monthly throughout. Barriers to future borrowing that will follow you for years past the resolution date. By the time this process ends in 2030, its financial shadow will stretch well into the decade beyond that. This is not a market correction. This is a 4-year trap with a door that only opens from one side. 1,422 days in foreclosure limbo. That is nearly 4 years. Could your finances and your family survive that? Downtown Las Vegas was supposed to be the comeback story, the arts district that grew east of Fremont Street. The renovated mid-century blocks, the coffee shops that replaced pawn shops, the murals painted across buildings that once held check-cashing windows. People moved here in the early 20s, believing they were getting in early on a real urban revival. They paid early adopter prices for that belief. Some of them paid prices that made no rational sense, and they did it with borrowed money at 6 and 7%. But here is what the real estate agents are not showing you. According to Redfin's February 2026 data, downtown Las Vegas home prices have fallen 26.2% compared to 1 year ago. 26.2% in 12 months. That is the single largest year-over-year collapse of any named submarket in the entire Las Vegas Valley. A buyer who purchased here in early 2025 and needed to sell today would bring a check to the closing table just to exit. The home they bought is no longer worth what they owe on it. Downtown Las Vegas was always a high-risk proposition dressed up as urban opportunity. The revival narrative attracted buyers, but the fundamentals never supported the prices the market reached at the peak. Thin owner-occupant demand. Limited employment base away from tourism. When investor confidence pulled back across the metro per United States, real estate investors' December 2025 data downtown markets with weak underlying demand lost their floor entirely. There was nothing underneath left to catch it. A growing number of downtown Las Vegas homeowners who bought during the 2021 and 2022 surge are now watching their purchase price become a number they cannot recover in any near-term timeline. Their neighbors are listing at distressed prices. The new comparables are 26% below where they bought in. The appraisal they need to justify holding the asset will not return where they need it. And according to CNBC's 2026 reporting, buyer hesitation across the Las Vegas market remains driven by economic uncertainty that shows no sign of resolving quickly. If you bought in downtown Las Vegas near the 2023 peak at an estimated $430,000, here is what the numbers show. According to Redfin's February 2026 data, a 26.2% decline brings current estimated value to approximately $317,300. That is a paper loss of $112,700 in 1 year. Add 3 years of interest at 6.5% on a $387,000 loan, approximately $75,000 paid to the bank. You are looking at nearly $188,000 in combined paper losses and financing costs on a $430,000 home. In 3 years, in a downtown that was supposed to be the smart money move, 26.2% down in 1 year. If that same rate continues for another 12 months, at what point does the math tell you that you no longer own a home, you own a liability that costs more to keep than to surrender? Every neighborhood in this countdown, from Henderson's stalled listings to the collapsed prices of downtown Las Vegas, tells the same story. A city that was sold as America's affordable escape from the coasts became America's second most exposed foreclosure market in the first quarter of 2026. The investors who drove prices up left first. They always do. The families who bought at the peak were left holding the mortgage, the rate, and the hope that something would change before the math caught up with them. It has not changed. It has accelerated. Here's what the mainstream coverage of this story keeps missing. The crisis in Las Vegas is not primarily a price story. It is a timeline story. When the average foreclosure in Nevada takes 1,422 days to resolve nearly 4 years, what you are looking at is not a market correcting. You are looking at tens of thousands of families locked into a legal process that will not release them until 2030. The prices can recover. The equity can return. The 4 years cannot be given back. Somewhere in Clark County right now, a family just received their first notice. The clock started today. It will not stop for 1,422 days. The warning signs were always there. The question is, were you watching? This video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial or real estate advice. Always consult a licensed professional before making any investment decisions. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your city in the comments below.